Famcast Media, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, persons of all ages, welcome to the most exclusive group in the wrestling community. And now, your hosts, first, from Guadalajara, Puerto Rico, Macho Rodriguez, and his tag team partner from New Brunswick, Canada, God's gift, Tyler.
Mi gente, ¿cómo estamos? Welcome to a special edition of Must Love Wrestling, because today we are talking the infamous Montreal Screwjob. And guys, we have been planning this episode for months. We have talked about this. This was initially Tyler's idea, and we've always wanted to come on here and just have one of these conversations because this has become a heated conversation between Tyler and I. So before we get started, Tyler, how are you?
I'm all right now. I don't know that it's going to stick that way.
Yes, this is going to be one of the most contentious episodes we've ever had. We are completely on different sides of this, which isn't something we typically do. But
sure, Team Edward.
Yeah, well, I am Team Edward. Yes,
Exactly.
Because he's not a pedophile. And
just an abuser.
I mean, if you say so. I mean, still, the wolf imprinted on a baby while she was in a belly. That's gross.
Can't help
and
it.
Then he married her.
Involuntary.
He married her. That's gross. Anyway, since we're already getting started, let's jump right in. Yeah. I mean, it's good enough for podcasting. All right. So guys, the Montreal Screwjob was an infamous unscripted professional wrestling incident that occurred on November 9th, 1997. So exactly 26 years ago tomorrow at Survivor Series, in which Vince McMahon, the owner of the WWF, had selected a few WWF employees to covertly manipulate and predetermine the outcome of a match in favor of Shawn Michaels. The Screwjob occurred without Hart's knowledge, causing him to lose the championship. Hart had been champion since August 1997, a week prior to Survivor Series. Hart was told that he would not be brought back to WWE or WWF at the time, and he was told to go to WCW. In this, he was asked to drop the title to Shawn Michaels and said he would not do so based on a previous conversation that he had with Shawn, where Shawn said he wouldn't put him over. Now, we're just going to stop there and we'll go through facts. But Tyler, your initial thoughts about the Screwjob?
As far as I know, he was in the sharpshooter and he couldn't stand the pain and he just tapped out.
Okay.
He just gave up. No, in all seriousness, it takes a rationale that my mind doesn't compute to refuse to do a job. We all know back in those days, Shawn walked around acting like and pretending he wouldn't lose to anyone. But the reality is, obviously, when it came time for him to do business and lose the title, he did it.
Sure.
So, I mean, Brett, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, at the time of this incident, Bret Hart was known as like the consummate professional. He cared more about the championship than he did about the money in his pocket. He wanted to be the champion. He wanted to be the top guy. We've heard throughout the history of professional wrestling how he blames Hulk Hogan for not putting him over. for ruining his shot to the top. Now, Hogan has disputed this by saying that the job the entire time, as told to him, was that he was going to lose to Yoko, and he was never supposed to lose to Bret. But we don't know if that's true or not. In this time, it always felt like Bret Hart was the champion that they kind of went to in case of emergency, and they never really put all their machine behind him, as we saw in 94 when he had to drop the championship to Yoko, or 93 where he dropped the championship to Yoko, and then Yoko held the title for a year. And then the next year, instead of them picking Bret Hart once again, they had their machine behind Lex Luger. Lex Luger booked himself out of that based on a road trip, and they decided to put the title back on Bret Hart. What?
Is this new information or a road trip?
Yeah, it was the Lex Express.
Oh, the bus. Okay, I thought you meant he
Yeah.
went on a road trip and did something he shouldn't have.
No. The Lex Express. So in this time, they went back to Bret Hart. When there was injuries, Bret Hart always got the title put back on him. As we've seen Bret Hart win the title for a day. We've seen him beat Big Daddy Cool Diesel for the title when Diesel wasn't making any money or wasn't drawing anything or any interest, because he might have been the most boring champion in professional wrestling history. And, obviously the Clique gets what they want. So Shawn Michaels had his way. When Bret dropped the title to him at WrestleMania 12, Shawn was supposed to do the same thing next year. He faked the knee injury. He got popped for steroids. His mom told him he lost his smile. And obviously, so many things happen. But we did get the greatest WrestleMania match of all time with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret the Hitman Hart. So that worked out really well.
I'm going to have to stop you right there.
Okay, go ahead.
He faked the knee injury thing.
He faked the knee injury.
He tore his meniscus. His family doctor told him his career was over.
Sure. Yeah, I can go to my family doctor tomorrow and tell them that I have migraines and I can't go to work, and they'll write me a note too.
Mm-hmm. And then when he went to a sports orthopedist like James Andrews, they were like, "No, we can fix that. No big deal." But
he would have been ready for WrestleMania.
Says who? Says Bret.
Says Andrews.
Says Bret. It was
Andrews.
It was 6 weeks. 6 weeks recovery. It was less than 6 weeks before Mania.
Okay.
So,
did he wrestle with a broken back in 1998 at WrestleMania 14?
Yeah, he did. He did the favor for Stone Cold. Yep.
Oh, I was just curious. Okay. Did Stone Cold put Shawn Michaels on the map? Did Stone Cold put over Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 12?
Shawn Michaels put Shawn Michaels on the map.
Really?
Yeah, really.
That's interesting.
Because he was the best performer in the company, and they had to give him the title.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah, he was so good in 1997 when he won the title at the Montreal Screwjob that he held the title for 5 months and retired.
Yeah, because his back was broken.
He also had someone about 6'11", 320 pounds, have to standing gorilla taping his wrists because he was going to punch the shit out of him if he didn't put the title on Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay, well, we can talk about that a little bit some other time.
Well, it all pertains to this because the whole point that Bret Hart was making was that Shawn wasn't ready to carry the load for the company, and it was clear because he wasn't.
But he did carry the load for the company. He was champion.
5 months. You're absolutely right. For 5 months,
he was champion from WrestleMania in '96 to Survivor Series.
Okay, so let's look at the history of events here. So Shawn Michaels wins the title in 1996, right? At WrestleMania 12. That's his first title reign. He drops the title to Sid. He wins the title back from Sid. He has a pretty good run, right? Mm-hmm. He's told he needs to drop the title to Bret, and then all of a sudden he falls. He trips on a piece of paper, and he says, "I tore my meniscus. I'm going to go to my family doctor instead of using my work doctor and the people that, get paid to do this, that I can do this for free." He goes to his family doctor, and he gets his doctor to write him a boo-boo letter for his knee. And then he drops the championship, obviously. It produces the worst WrestleMania in history. WrestleMania 13 is regarded by many as the worst one out of all 39. Would you disagree?
Yeah, I would. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
everyone puts 9 and 11 below it.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. We just saw the Minnesota Vikings coach tell TJ Hawkinson to get back down on the ground to extend the clock, which is what Shawn Michaels did in this time. And while he did that, we got the greatest wrestling match ever, which was Brett versus Austin, the greatest WrestleMania match ever, which is Brett versus Austin. And so, Shawn Michaels played himself out of the title picture. And what happened? He got the title put back on him because D-Generation X was a boom, was super exciting. And from the moment he won the title, 5 months later, due to all of the extracurricular activities and due to his, bad nature and,
Career-ending
just
back
his,
injury.
sure, yeah. I mean, he took the bump. Mick Foley. Wait, let me just ask a question for the audience. How do you feel about Mick Foley, Tyler? What's your opinion of Mick Foley?
He's a great man.
He's a great man.
Yeah.
So when Mick Foley says that it's not the wrestler who gives the move, it's the wrestler taking the move, you still blame Undertaker for that Royal Rumble spot?
I didn't say anything about the Undertaker. I said he had a
Okay, so
career-ending
it
back
was
injury.
Yes, it was Shawn Michaels that hurt himself then. It's just interesting. They screwed over Legacy and they chose it for 5 months because Shawn Michaels became a transitional champion. How many title defenses did he have from then? Because you like to bring up Roman Reigns and his lack of title defenses from WrestleMania. I mean, from that Survivor Series in '97 to WrestleMania 14, how many title defenses did Shawn Michaels have?
Oh, let's see. He defended it at
You didn't think I was ready for this conversation.
the first two pay-per-views.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He defended it on Raw against Owen Hart.
The one Owen should have won. That's right.
I wouldn't have had a problem with that. He got injured at the Royal Rumble, so they gave him off No Way Out. Thank you,
Yeah.
D.
Yeah.
And then he dropped it to Austin. He wasn't working the last 2 months of his career at the time because he couldn't. They were just trying to get him through Mania.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What would you consider better? Standing up and fighting for yourself and telling your boss, hey, I'm going to drop the title the next day, and your boss kind of telling you, no, we're not going to do that, and then having a slew of wrestlers tell you, no, if you're not going to do business, we're going to do business for you, or for you making up a story about your mommy telling you lost your smile?
I don't see how that's relevant.
It's relevant because
he was injured.
He was supposed to drop the title to Bret Hart. He chose not to.
And he said himself he did not want to do it, but he would have had push come to shove. Unfortunately, in the meantime, he got injured. As he said, there's no refusing to do a job. Just ask Bret Hart.
Yeah, I mean, Bret, for one time in his entire career, that we know. Okay, so you say that, but where's your proof? Don't just say stuff on our podcast.
I said that we know of because we don't know what else he's done behind closed doors.
So what history do we know more of? Bret Hart and his lack of professionalism in the back, or Shawn Michaels and his lack of professionalism?
Here's what I don't get. I don't get why Bret's looked at like this loyal soldier who never stepped out of line, never did anything.
No one looks like that.
Everyone says that Bret, he gave up so much for the company, he sacrificed so much.
That's all lies.
All the time. I've heard that from you. I've heard that out of your mouth.
Okay, I'm one singular person. How does the wrestling media, how do wrestling fans in 2023 feel about Bret Hart? What do they call him?
A crybaby, probably, because that's what he is.
Exactly. So you're sitting here saying that he is treated and he's put on this pedestal, and that is not true. Look at some of the comments that D said here. Look, even the people in our comments, this is how people feel about Bret Hart right here. You're fighting a battle that is not to be fought. None of that stuff that you're saying is true. I'm sticking to the facts and you're lying on our podcast.
Have you not said that out of your own mouth that he was so loyal?
Yes,
And
I'm a singular person out of
am I having
millions of wrestling
Am I having this
fans.
conversation with you right now?
Sure, but you said I don't know why Brett is looked at like that, and you never insinuated that you were talking directly to me. You meant it as wrestling talk in general, like
Okay,
all
so
of wrestle talk.
okay, so now I'm talking to you.
Okay, sure.
Why do you say that? He tried to leave for WCW when he was Intercontinental Champion. Flair said that he could get him a really good deal, and then it turned out there was a hurricane or something, and they didn't have the money or whatever. Something. It's in his book. You'll read it. It fell
Mhm.
through.
Yeah.
So
Eric
crisis
Bischoff
avert.
says that's bullshit.
Okay. Well, Bret Hart, Ric Flair, the Titan trilogy all say it isn't. So believe who you want.
Okay.
Eric also says he didn't talk to him in '96, which is complete and utter bullshit.
Okay.
Because Brett says he had the contract offer in his back pocket when he went on Raw and said he was re-signing. So either Bret Hart's a liar or Eric Bischoff is.
Mm.
So that's the second time that he almost left the company.
Mm-hmm.
And Vince gave him just this amazing 20-year deal to try to keep him, which was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Should have just let him go, but he didn't want him to join the NWO.
Well, he did.
Yeah. Well, how did that help them?
He beat Goldberg.
He helped
How many people can say
WCW.
that?
He helped WCW win the ratings war. WCW is still around. Bret Hart's a big part of it.
I mean, Bret Hart doesn't wrestle anymore. He had to leave. He injured himself.
It was over long before that.
Sure.
The war was
if
done.
you say so. Bret Hart's last match was better than Shawn's last match.
If you're referring to the...
Yes, I am, because it's on the record books.
Okay, Bret Hart's last match was... He was in that 7-on-7...
Bret Hart could wrestle my 1-year-old daughter and be better than anything Shawn Michaels did.
Are you not the same person who calls Shawn Michaels the GOAT?
Yeah, all around sports entertainer, but even Shawn Michaels himself calls Bret the best wrestler ever.
That's great. So if that's all that mattered, then good for him, but it isn't.
What's the name of our show? Must Love Entertainment?
Okay. Well, I don't know. We talk an awful lot about Roman Reigns, and he is certainly not the best wrestler of all time.
He's the best wrestler in that company.
The best in-ring wrestler in that company is Roman Reigns.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God. Now you're lying on our podcast.
Nope, I would flatline a lie detector.
Okay, well, then
Who's better, Sidney Crosby or Patrick Kane? Okay. You say it's Sidney Crosby. If I told you that it was Patrick Kane, how would you respond to me? As someone who knows nothing about hockey, as someone who's never been on a hockey rink or anything like that, how would you respond?
I would just tell you you're wrong.
Okay, well, you're wrong.
How am I wrong?
Because Roman Reigns is a better...
Oh my God, are you serious? Are you seriously going to pull the I trained to wrestle thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
When did you train to wrestle, Lewis? When did you train to wrestle?
2002.
You don't think wrestling has changed since 2002?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you think that it's reverting back to its old day? What professional wrestler would succeed more back in the day? Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins? Would Seth Rollins be a mid-carder back in the day?
Which day?
Back in that day. You think Seth Rollins would be out there with The Rock?
Were the two guys we're talking about right now, the two guys we're talking about on this show, were they mid-carders?
No, they weren't, but they were spectacularly better than everybody else. Seth Rollins isn't even the best wrestler not named Roman Reigns in the company. Or did you forget that there's this guy, Allen from Georgia, that works on SmackDown?
Oh my God.
You're going to sit here and tell our audience that Seth Rollins is a better in-ring performer than AJ Styles.
Yes.
I think you just ruined all your credibility. There are people that consider AJ Styles one of the greatest of all time. No one talks about Seth Rollins that way.
And there are people who consider the earth to be flat. Oh, wait, he's one of them.
That's funny. I've never seen anybody try to draw Shawn Michaels out of retirement to wrestle Seth Rollins, but I've seen people do that to wrestle AJ Styles. I've never seen Undertaker want to wrestle Seth Rollins, but he came back to work AJ Styles. I haven't seen Kurt Angle.
He didn't come back to work AJ Styles.
Okay.
He was already there.
All right.
That was his last match. Oh my god, I can't
He
believe you're
chose him.
saying this.
Yeah, AJ Styles is better than Seth Rollins.
No,
What do you want me to
I don't
say?
think he chose him for his last match. I think that cinematic match was such a hit with everybody. It wasn't even a match. It's not like it was a wrestling match. But the
one time Seth Rollins
production.
had a cinematic match, it sucked.
What cinematic match did he have?
I don't know. It was this match in a red cage with a red
That
light.
wasn't cinematic.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it wasn't. It would have been a hell of a lot better
So
if it
it was
was.
meant to be that bad?
The finish was meant to be what it was. I mean, that's what made it that bad.
I mean, sure. I
We're
just find it odd.
getting way off topic.
I find it odd that we're talking about a guy, Seth Rollins, whose wrestling goat is Bret Hart.
Okay, cool.
And Roman Reigns, whose wrestling goat is Bret Hart.
Okay, cool. Good for them.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay, so that's not really
getting
the point
back
of
to
this
it,
one.
Shawn Michaels lied about his knee injury, and he got his mommy to write him a note so he didn't have to participate in gym class.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, when I say we don't know if Brett's refused to do any other jobs, and you're like, who is it? Give me facts, because I don't want to get sued. But you can come on here and blatantly say that Shawn Michaels faked an injury, and
I mean, lots of people have said it. It's been on interviews where wrestlers have talked about it. Actual people like Bruce Pritchard have done this. Shawn's knee injury. Why would he do this?
When did he do
Joey
that?
Tribbiani did it.
When did he do that?
He's done it on interviews. Shawn Michaels had a knee injury.
Because he's done it on his podcast and said Shawn had a torn meniscus on his own podcast with Comrade Thompson.
Sure. Bruce Pritchard and Jim Cornette also said that they came up with the Montreal Screwjob. What did you say before the show started?
Bruce Pritchard did not say that he came up with the Montreal Screwjob because he didn't even know about it. He didn't even know about it. He says that he didn't know about it.
So they're not on Jim Cornette's podcast talking about it?
Then he's lying because he's lying either on his own or on Cornette's, because he talks about he's sitting backstage with Taker watching the whole show, and they made Taker leave because remember the entrances that they did where they followed them?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want Taker to be sitting at Gorilla when they were walking past. So he was sitting there watching the show with Taker. They made Taker leave, and Taker thought he made him leave because he knew about it. But in reality, and then he thought Taker knew about it because Taker was in Vince's office.
No, dude, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
So he's lying at some point. So many people have told so many lies about this.
Sure. And as Patty Regan says, he believes that the Montreal Screwjob is forever a work. It's a long con.
It really should have been.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's one of those things. And I get it. I get that people love Shawn Michaels, and I in a part love Shawn Michaels too. But when it comes to this subject, I don't like the way Bret was treated. I mean, and when we look at it, what Bret Hart is maligned for is for not wanting to put over Shawn Michaels in one time in his career that we know of, as you said. And Shawn Michaels is the Michael Vick of professional wrestling. The guy was a POS for years. And
really? He murdered dogs?
Yeah. I mean, he found Jesus and everybody forgave him.
He literally did nothing like what Michael Vick did.
Okay, but Bret Hart has never done anything close to what Shawn Michaels did. He didn't attack people in the back. He didn't embarrass people on a live biggest show of the summer like he did Big Van Vader. He didn't go complaining to management that this guy hit me too hard. I mean, there's a lot of things that Shawn Michaels did in professional wrestling. He didn't make wrestlers that were young like RVD feel like they would never make it in the business, who did wind up being WWE champion, by the way. Bret Hart didn't try to hold down young wrestlers like CM Punk like Shawn Michaels did. There were things that Shawn Michaels did that should literally warrant him not being considered one of the greatest ever, yet we push all of that aside to call him the GOAT, and all Bret Hart did was complain about one fucking show.
Yeah, all he did was refuse to do business because it's my home country.
Just like you have said that you believe that Shawn was going to put over Bret if it came down to it, I still believe that Bret would have put over Shawn. If they would have told him, just like they did Ultimate Warrior right before he got fired, right before he lost the title to the Sergeant Slaughter, if they would have told him, you're losing tonight or we're going to make you lose, he would have done it. He
Maybe.
would have been like, fine, I'll take the super kick. I'll take the 3. I'm out.
Yeah, but how do you believe him?
I believe that Bret Hart has shown a history of professionalism in that ring.
Okay.
How many people in professional wrestling? Let's do it this way. How many people in the business have come out and said that Bret behind the scenes was a cancer? That he wasn't helpful. He didn't help the boys. How many people have said negative things about Bret Hart behind the scenes?
Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Undertaker.
Wow. Undertaker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to fact check you on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now what he said. I've said it on this podcast before. In the In Your House, Rage in the Cage.
Mm-hmm.
After Taker comes out of the apron or comes out of the ring, and
oh my god,
he was supposed to take the jackknife.
We're talking about a story on television. We're talking about backstage.
Yeah, and Taker said to him backstage because Bret was like,
I don't see how this helps me. They have to change the subject. This is what happens.
I'm not changing the subject. You asked me what people said bad things about Bret Hart.
Okay, well, finish what you're saying, and then I'll ask you my question again. So I'll answer. I'll talk about this, and then I'll ask you. Maybe you'll answer my question.
So Bret was supposed to take a jackknife and supposed to further their story, and Bret said, "I don't see how that makes me look weak." And Taker looked at him and said, "Well, it's not all about you, motherfucker."
Okay, so how many people backstage have said things about Bret Hart, about him being contentious, attacking people? Like, how many people have actually said this stuff like they've said about Shawn Michaels? Now that you've got your little quip out of the way that Undertaker said what he said, it's funny how you can use the Undertaker for that, but then it bothers you that Undertaker was going to slap the shit out of your boy toy at WrestleMania 14.
Yeah, it bothers me because he had no business. He had no business. He was involved in this story. He wasn't involved in that at all.
That sounds very much like the people that, you're just defending.
Was the Undertaker involved in the story that I just told? Was the Undertaker involved in the story?
In the story about Bret Hart, about the jackknife?
Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. In Shawn dropping the belt to Stone Cold, was the Undertaker involved whatsoever?
Absolutely he was.
How?
He was asked to be there, and who's the leader of the locker room?
He was asked to be there by
Shawn Michaels.
He was asked to be there by who?
By Vince. That's what he said in his Undertaker thing. Why would he say that? Why would Undertaker tell us that after retirement? Vince, he was asked to be there. He knew that he had to be there. Shawn did not want to drop the title to Steve Austin.
That is bullshit. That is bullshit.
Okay, well, the Undertaker told us himself from his own mouth, and you're saying that he's a liar.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Well, then why would he lie to so many people?
Okay, well, either he's a liar or other people are liars.
So everybody that says anything about Shawn Michaels is a liar, because that's what you've done for the past 20 minutes is just call people like Bruce Pritchard or anybody else who says anything about Shawn Michaels is a liar.
I'm saying, in Pritchard's case, I'm saying he lied one place or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said one thing and then he said another thing. So, which is true, Bruce? One has to be a lie, right?
Okay. So, Bruce Pritchard, liar. Got it.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I have
said two different things.
I've never heard him say that thing that you said. Every time we have this conversation, you have always told me that Bruce Pritchard said that the MCL injury was real, and yet I've never heard that. I've never read that. I've never seen it. I've tried to Google it, and I've never found it. I've never found Bruce Pritchard saying that Shawn Michaels' injury was legit. You've always told me that, and I've always just aired that you were telling me the truth.
All right, I think it's like episode 7 or 8 of his podcast with Conrad.
Mm-hmm.
It's in. I think it's the episode about Montreal, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
It could be another Bret Hart episode. There's several. I do recommend anyone who's listening check them out. By the way, they're very informative, or maybe they're not, because other people have said that what happened was the day before this training event or whatever. Mm-hmm. Shawn was hit in the head with the battery. He said, "Get me some security, or I'm not fucking going." Exact words.
Yeah.
So that was the big, oh, he's not going to drop the title because he said, get me security
Did
or
you
I'm not
say Shawn
going?
Michaels was to professional wrestling at the time? Was he carrying the company? Is that what you said? On this show today, in the past 30 minutes, when I said that Brett was carrying the company, you said so was Shawn, right?
No. You said Brett made Shawn, and I said Shawn made himself.
Okay. Would you say he was carrying the WWF at the time? It was his job to get the title to Stone Cold. Would you say that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In 1961, Roger Maris was breaking Babe Ruth's record, and he was getting hit with batteries. He didn't miss a day in the outfield. He didn't go to Mr. Steinbrenner and tell him, "Hey, I'm not," or the Yankees brass. He didn't go to them and say, "I'm not going out there unless you guys get these batteries out of these fans' hands." Yankee fans hated their own right fielder.
So what does that have to do with anything? There you are. You said it. You said it yourself. You're losing the argument, so you change the subject.
No, it's exactly the same thing. You were talking about him getting hit in the head with a fucking battery. How many times does Shawn Michaels need to cry foul to backstage? First, it's Vader's hitting me too hard. So then they ruin Vader's push.
Well, he spoke to Vader. He spoke to Vader first, and Vader didn't do anything about it. So eventually, at some point, if you're pissing off the top guy in the company,
literally known for being snug.
Okay, and if you're pissing off the top guy in the company and you just won't do anything about it, eventually there are going to be consequences.
Sure, when you're a drugged out cokehead and you can't keep your shit together and somebody's smacking you around a little bit, I mean, take it. Jesus, you would think that all that coke he's snorting that he would actually be able to take a punch. I mean, you're going to tell me Shawn Michaels wasn't a drug addict?
No, I'm not, but that's neither here nor there in the conversation. He was the top guy in the company at the time. Mm-hmm. He asked for something to be changed. Vader was just like, "Nah, I'm going to do whatever I want." So at some point, there are consequences to that.
Sure. And they met him and they said, "Sure, we're going to do that." And they halted Vader's push and they went forward with other plans. So they gave the man what he wanted, correct?
Yeah, because he was more important.
Okay. There's a history of them giving Shawn what he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So when he went to them and said, "Hey, get more security out there. I got hit with a battery." You really think that the logical response was to give them an ultimatum, do this or I'm not going out there for the biggest show of the year, and giving the title to the guy who is like on par with Hulk Hogan?
Okay, so he said it and they got him security and then so he went out. No problem.
Okay. Can I sidetrack for a second to ask you a relationship question?
Sure.
Okay. In relationships, whether it's yours or somebody that you've seen in the past, what happens to a relationship when an ultimatum is set?
Nothing good.
Exactly.
This relationship was already over, though.
Okay.
His career was done. All he was doing was trying to do the right thing, and he's shit on for it.
I don't understand how threatening to not put over.
All he was doing was trying to get to WrestleMania to put over Austin. He could have ended his career after the Rumble and just gave the belt up.
Okay. We've spent the past 10 minutes talking about all of the negative things that Shawn Michaels has done in professional wrestling. Now, why don't we do the same for Bret Hart? Let's spend the next 10 minutes just talking about all of the negative things Bret Hart did backstage, all of the people that he hurt, all of the pushes that he stopped. Why don't we do that? Do you think we could fill 10 minutes with that?
I don't know, because it's not talked about as much.
Why? A lot of people don't like Bret Hart. A lot of wrestlers, Scott Hall has said it a lot, like he was a mark for himself. But a lot of people don't have anything negative like this to say about Bret Hart.
Well, I don't know. They must not have read his book then, because I think a lot of people would have a lot of negative things to say.
A lot of people read those books. A lot of people read wrestlers' books. That's my point. Everybody hates Bret Hart, the man. They hate what he represents, how he's a mark for himself when marks are looked at. Like you said it yourself. I'll let you say, because you actually know the quote. What does William Regal say on Talk is Jericho about marks?
He says he hates the word because it's a derogatory term.
Okay, so professional wrestlers look at marks as like a negative, right?
Right.
What's Hulk Hogan's quote about marks? Or about getting worked, about working? What does he say? Don't let the work you, brother. Is that what he says?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
I have not heard that one.
But so all of these wrestlers have come out and said all of this about Bret Hart, and yet that is the issue with him, that he was a mark. So in the wrestling world, it is worse to be a mark for yourself than it is to be a drug addict, to be a problem, a toxic problem backstage. That's my point.
You can call Sean a drug addict all you want, but the reality is he was never not able to work. He was never not able to go out there and steal the show.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs
he stole the show whenever Bret wasn't on it.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, that was a lot in those days because Bret took time off every 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the story about Bret Hart. If you want to talk about professionalism, and you're going to be like,
that's what I'm asking. I said, let's fill the next 10 minutes.
And I'm sure I can already tell your answers. Yeah, you should get your PTO. That's what the worker should do. Bret Hart took off the summer after Mania of '96. He was supposed to go film a TV show. Mm-hmm. Said TV show got canceled. Mm-hmm. Bret never told anyone.
Sure.
And took the time off anyway.
What's wrong with that?
Okay, whatever. That's cool, whatever. When the Ultimate Warrior went AWOL in like the end of June, they called them and they're like, hey, we know you're taking time off, but we have this issue. We need someone to fill in for a couple of dates because their policy was to try to get something better than what they lost. He was like, nah, can't do it. That's the loyal company man that you talk about?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So you don't think that people are required vacation time?
I don't think he was required 6 months vacation time. He'd only just come back in like October.
Who are we talking about? We talking about Jim Hellwig or Bret Hart?
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart took off 6 months?
Yeah, he took off from maybe even more because from Mania of '96, which I think was the end of March, to when he wrestled Stone Cold. He worked like a European tour or something in there, but other than that,
so he took off and he came back and provided the greatest WrestleMania match of all time.
No, he took off and came back in Survivor Series
to work
Austin.
Stone Cold.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's weird to me.
You don't find that somewhat unprofessional, especially if the reason that you took off isn't actually even happening?
No.
Okay. Well, if Shawn Michaels did it, he'd be a piece of shit.
I mean,
and you know that's a fact.
Says who? The guy
says everyone who says anything about Shawn Michaels ever.
I don't know. In my world of professional wrestling, whenever I research or I look up everybody or anything or anybody, literally everybody says Shawn is the greatest to ever do it. So I don't know what world you live in, but in my world, everybody loves Shawn Michaels.
And they don't talk about all the other stuff.
You're Rob Van Dam, nope.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam wishes he was in Shawn Michaels' category.
I mean, yeah.
Either one of these guys, honestly.
Yeah. Rob Van Dam has made it very clear. Don't meet your heroes.
Okay, well.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's always treated like what Bret has done, his complaining and the end of his career, that it is the worst thing that's ever happened in professional wrestling.
And
there are literally people right now trying to get Hogan back on television. Let's forgive him for what he said on Bubba the Love Sponge. Let's forgive him. And yet nobody's doing that for Bret. And it's so far that when CM Punk or FTR or Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns talk about Bret Hart, whenever they talk about what Bret Hart means to them, it's always like, yeah, but Bret's a grumpy old fuck. He's just grumpy.
I mean, he is.
Like that's I don't know which family doesn't have a grumpy old man in it.
Sure.
We all love that person.
Sure. The other thing is, again, we talk about, you want to talk about Brett like he's a saint or something. Let's not forget his road habits.
Sure, yeah, he was. Yep, he cheated on his wife. Yep.
All the time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's awful. That's terrible. I don't know what that has to do with professional wrestling.
Oh, so it only matters what you do backstage. It doesn't matter what kind of person you
Sure,
are.
when you're taking steroids, when you're
That doesn't.
snorting coke in the locker room, when you're
Okay,
doing
so
stuff like that, when
that
you're affecting
that doesn't
on-screen
speak. That doesn't speak to the. What's
stories.
he affecting on screen?
But we started this conversation talking.
What's he
Shawn
affecting on
Michaels
screen?
ruined WrestleMania 13 with his knee injury.
How did he ruin
With his-
it? Didn't we get Bret Hart versus Stone Cold in the greatest WrestleMania match of all time?
Okay. How many? We started this show saying we both agreed that WrestleMania 13 is the worst WrestleMania.
No, we didn't.
We both.
We did not agree to that. We did not
So
agree
you
to
do-
that. I
so you
said
just
9
said
and
they're
11
bad.
were both worse.
How is it possible that 11 is worse? 11 gave us two really good matches with, at the time, the best celebrity match we've ever gotten.
And that's it.
Okay. There's literally one match on WrestleMania 13 that's memorable.
That's the greatest match in WrestleMania history.
Okay, yeah.
So it's better. Yeah, it rates higher than Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
I mean, you're. It's funny how you. All right, since you want to bring up Sunny Days, right?
Am
'Cause
I
that's
wrong?
what
Am I
we're
wrong?
talking about. What are you talking about? What are
Am
you
I
wrong
wrong?
about?
Like, yeah, WrestleMania 13 rates ahead of 11 when the only memorable thing about 11 was Bam Bam versus LT.
Okay. I disagree.
What else?
I think that Shawn versus Diesel, although it was subpar, was still better than the rest of WrestleMania 13.
Okay, maybe. I thought you were gonna say Bret Hart versus Bob Backlund. It's just gonna have
Bret
to
Hart
go
versus Bob
into
Backlund was a good match, but I know
Mm.
Bret doesn't like it, so I can't defend it. If Bret doesn't like
Nobody
it, I
likes
can't
it.
defend it. Sure. I mean, a lot of people don't like Bob
You
Backlund.
like it.
Yeah, because I like
You.
professional wrestling. I mean, since you want to bring up Sunny Days and you want to bring up his infidelity, why don't we talk about the other guy that Sunny slept with?
Okay, sure.
Why don't we talk about the guy that actually literally ruined a marriage?
I don't think he's the only one that ruined that marriage, buddy.
That's weird because there was a dark side of the ring that spoke specifically to Shawn Michaels doing that. That's weird.
Because
So
that's
we're
the
only,
most
we're
famous
only
person.
supposed to believe we're only supposed to believe that the plane ride from hell, but we're not supposed to believe this right here. We get to pick and choose what we believe then.
Word is that she was pretty friendly with a lot of people.
I mean, she's been pretty vocal about what Shawn Michaels meant in the bedroom.
Brett's own brother-in-law is one of them.
Sure, but Sunny's only really talked about one professional wrestler she slept with as the greatest she's ever been with, right?
Okay, good for him, I guess. She's admitted to being with Davey.
I mean, yeah, but we're sticking on topic with Shawn and Brett.
But Sean's the piece of shit, right? Because he's the only one.
Yeah, but I think when that Dark Side of the Ring thing happened, I think Shawn was doing it behind Chris Candido's back. Like, I think when she was doing all of that stuff, she wasn't with
David,
Chris.
and David was like, "Yeah, mate, I banged your wife." Like, bro, like, no, that's all behind his back.
I mean, sure. What happened to Chris Candido?
Well, he died, but I don't think one has anything to do with the other.
Okay. I mean,
He died because he flew. He died because he flew after surgery and got a blood clot.
All right, but
I don't think we can. I don't think we can blame Shawn Michaels for that.
What happened to Chris Candido's professional career?
I don't know. He's in WCW. Had titles there. Titles in ECW.
I'm pretty sure that Dark Side of the Ring gave us insight that Shawn Michaels had something to do with him not being with the company anymore.
I see.
Or do you need to rewatch it?
You said that, and then I watched it, and I didn't get that at all.
Okay, so we both had the same words spoke to us, and you didn't get it. You didn't get that then.
Either that, or you didn't get what you thought you got.
Sure, because anybody who doesn't agree with Tyler's an idiot, right?
No, I didn't know. I'm
But
saying
that's what
that's
you've
not what
said
I
for the
took
past
from it.
45 minutes. If we don't agree with you, we're liars or we're idiots. That's what you've said for 45 minutes.
Every person that I've said lied. I said they said one thing at one point and something else at another. So at some point they had to be lying. Yes.
That's weird. I've only heard The Undertaker say the story about backstage one time, and I heard
Okay.
it then. And you said that he said it before then?
Yeah, he's talked about it before then. He talked
Okay,
about
well,
it on off the record on TSN.
okay. I mean,
He's like, yeah, I did what I thought needed to be done or something to that effect.
but did
And they
Sean
asked him
deny
about
it? Has Sean denied it?
Yeah, he has.
Shawn Michaels has denied it? When?
He denied it in his book. I think since he's said he wasn't aware of it or something.
Be careful,
Or he
D.
didn't
You
pay
might
any
be called a
attention to
liar. I mean, he says it here too.
Okay.
He thinks that Sean got him fired too.
Yeah, but I think he's kind of just saying a bunch of shit to get us both fired up.
No, I told him he didn't need to do that. He was going to get enough of that out of us
See?
regularly.
He had so much stroke that he was scared to say something. Yeah, okay, maybe.
Yeah, that's the point that I'm making here. Shawn Michaels was
If you
given
want-
everything.
Yo, if you wanna call Shawn Michaels a piece of shit and say he ruined someone's career, I'll give you the ammo to do it. Jean-Pierre Lafitte.
Sure. What I'm saying is, in his time in professional wrestling, Shawn Michaels has had much more backstage or on-screen issues. And all Bret Hart did was say, hey, I want to drop the title a day later. And because of that one moment, people look at Bret Hart as the worst to ever do it.
Okay, let's put it into full context. He wanted to hand over the title a day later.
That's weird. That's weird. Why don't we fast forward, like, I don't know, 20 years later? When Saraya left NXT, what did they have her do? Did she lose the NXT championship to somebody?
I honestly don't know.
She handed the title over.
Really? Was she going to work for a competitor that they were in a quote unquote war with?
Yeah, I believe Raw and SmackDown and NXT were all
They were at war. They were having a ratings war. One might go out of business because of the other one. That was going on.
Yeah, I mean, Edge got to go out with a win
because he literally couldn't work after that, and they didn't know it at the time.
But what I'm saying is they've allowed this to happen, right? So they've let this happen.
The only time they ever let anyone leave the company without dropping a title was Edge, and they found out in between Mania he was going to drop it to Del Rio at the next pay-per-view.
I'm curious too. I would like to know what happened. What's going on with Death Row Records too?
Did hear that.
Yeah, I know he's got his own podcast. I believe it's called. What's it called? 6 Feet Under. Is that what his podcast is going to be? Thanks for listening to the show, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Working the Marks. Yeah. He's a regular on Working the Marks.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. In Edge's case, he was supposed to drop the title to Del Rio and then go get his neck checked over at the next pay-per-view. He mentioned this on, I think it was the most recent appearance on Talk is Jericho. And they came to him and they were like, or it may have been right after he retired that he did it on the show. Same show. They were like, Vince called him and he was like, you're done. You can't wrestle. So that's the only person I know that they've allowed to leave the company as champion.
But they've allowed people to like set their own terms, right? Let me go out there and retire to this audience. Let me go out my way. They've done that. They've let people do that. I don't understand how the guy who literally did anything you asked him.
Really? Did he do everything they asked him? Because I'm pretty sure we just talked about him being like, nah, I'm not going to come work that show for you.
I mean, when you have a history of wrestling like 300 days a year and having record after record, year after year for the most wrestling matches, and you get a chance to take time off, sure. If you wanna consider him unprofessional,
he didn't do that the last few years he was there, though.
He produced some of the greatest segments in his entire history, and he gave us one of the greatest WrestleMania matches ever. So I believe that what
He did
he
all
did
that.
meant more to the business. He gave more to the business than he took away from it.
That may be true. Well, I don't know, because millions and millions of dollars is a pretty great thing to take away.
Sure, but I'm saying in for us as wrestling fans, I believe Brett gave us more than than he took away from it.
Sure, and I think you could say that about most wrestlers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they're
But
giving
again,
their body.
Sure. But I'm going to go back to saying it. I don't believe that Bret Hart deserves the type of hate that he gets based on what he's done in his career. There's nothing that he's done that's even come close to some of the shit that wrestlers have done in the past. I mean, we still sit here. There are still people trying to figure out a way to get Chris Benoit into the Hall of Fame, bro. There are still people doing that. I mean,
To me, that's insane.
That's my point. There's still people trying to defend Hulk Hogan and what he's done. And Hulk Hogan's the perfect example, honestly, because what everybody always says about Hogan is what he has done for the business means so much. Yeah, he had this hiccup, but we can't forget that without Hulk Hogan, we wouldn't have WWF today. That's always the thing that's said about Hogan. And I'm not disagreeing with it. Yeah, without Hulk Hogan, we don't have wrestling today. I know that. I'm not a Hogan fan, but I can admit that.
I'm sorry. Do you what?
We were. We'll get back to this at the end of the show.
Okay.
D's just fired up right now because he learned my opinions on Road Dogg Jesse James.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's my point right there is everybody seems to want to make excuses for all these different wrestlers and all anybody says about Bret. And now it's gotten to the point where people are so contentious about Bret Hart that they will actually sit there and say, well, he was actually really boring. He never really meant anything to me in the ring, even though plenty of people consider him the most realistic in-ring worker ever.
I want to be careful saying that because last time I said it, I got called a mark and said that Brock Lesnar was the most.
Oh yeah, no, Brock is good, but that's different. Patty feels that way because of what he brings to professional wrestling.
Right. So what I mean when I say that about Bret is like I believe everything he's doing in the ring. Like it looks like he's really having a fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not he's not doing all the flippy bullshit. That's great when it's great, but like at some point, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, if what you're looking for is for me or Tyler to agree on the Montreal screw job, it's not going to happen. The one thing that we can both agree on is, yeah, Bret should have done the job. It was his job. He should have done it. But the way that it was handled, I can never agree with
I was not expecting that from you.
Well, I have to be honest. He should have done his job. Like, he should have just been like, you know what? Fine, I'll do this. But there was so many things, and I think it really sucks because no one blames Shawn for what he said. No one talks about it. I honestly feel like you and I are the only guys that really talk about that one thing, Shawn, how he's like, when Bret goes, hey, they want me to put you over, I'm going to put you over. And Shawn's like, yeah, but I wouldn't do the same for you. Nobody talks about that. I think you and I are the only ones having that conversation.
It's just a stupid thing to say, but I think he was just being a dick.
Yeah, because that's what he was at the time. He was a dick.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, he said, and then Bret wants to say that like Shawn wouldn't put me over, but reality is Shawn put him over so many times throughout their careers.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to say about we were talking about Bret and professionalism or whatever. Did you know that 97 King of the Ring was supposed to be Bret versus Shawn? The Bret versus Austin match or the Shawn versus Austin match?
When
they were the tag, the tag when they were tag champs and they wrestled each other. Man, Shawn has some really good matches with stupid finishes. Anyway, the idea was Bret was supposed to. It was supposed to be if Bret didn't beat Sean in 10 minutes he would never wrestle in the US again.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Because Brett was coming back from a knee injury and they didn't want him to have to work a long match. So the idea was he's going to wrestle Sean. It's going to look like he's going to lose or not get the 10 minutes. The Hart Foundation are going to be handcuffed to the posts.
Yeah.
It's going to look like he's going to lose, and one of them is going to get loose and help him to win at the last second. That's what it was supposed to be. Because of the Sunny Days thing, Brett got boo-boo faced.
Of course, that was
and
pretty
decided,
harsh.
Well, sure, but honestly, everyone makes a big deal about it, but like I don't see how anyone would have even gotten it at the time.
I'm sure Brett's wife got it.
Apparently. Anyway, and decided that his knee injury wasn't ready. Although he was perfectly ready to main event a pay-per-view like a couple weeks later in Calgary. Man. So, I mean, that's whatever. They both said a lot of personal things about one another. Brett said that he couldn't understand how Sean's parents were proud of him because he danced around like a pretty boy, and
that was literally his gimmick, though.
He literally fucking wrote that in a news article. So like, they both said shit about each other that is unprofessional and personal. And
we got a question in the chat for you, or a statement directed towards you.
I never said I didn't like him. I said I think he's wrong.
There are so many gummies that are so good. I don't think Brett's wrong. I just think the way that it was handled was awful. But I really like the idea that you came up with a while back that this should have been a work.
It benefits everybody.
Yeah.
Vince still comes off looking like a hot heel. Sean's got the title. Brett goes to WCW as the hottest babyface in the company, and they probably still screw it up, but
yeah,
it should have been a work.
Yeah.
The one thing I always come back to with this is Brett says like, "Oh, I didn't have to lose to him. I had creative control in my last 30 days." What his contract said was that he had reasonable creative control. So reasonable creative control to me is like, I don't have to wear a dress on TV. I don't have to lose to the Brooklyn Brawler. Not I don't have. Sure. Not I don't have to put over the 1B in the company.
Yeah, I mean, not the shit on the Young Bucks here.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, Brett and Sean hated each other by Survivor Series 97, right? I mean, hated each other.
I don't know. I think they were kind of over it by then, honestly.
Well, it definitely feels like they produced possibly the best match they've ever had together.
Well, they mostly just beat the shit out of each other, but sure.
But it was phenomenal.
It was really good. I really like it. This is
my favorite Brett versus Sean match.
It is mine as well.
Like, and the worst part about it is the ending is perfect because look at what happened with 98 Survivor Series. They did the same thing the next year.
They should just do it every year at Survivor Series.
But
pull out the screw job.
Not only did it work, it gave us one of the biggest baby faces in the company. Mankind became a fucking huge baby face just because they did the Montreal screw job wherever the Survivor Series 98 was.
I actually think it worked better the second time because it was the opposite of what everyone was expecting.
Yeah. I don't think anybody was expecting Rocky to turn heel like that to join the corporation.
Well, no, because Mankind was the one that was trying to like make friends with Vince and everything, and then
yeah, but Rocky looked the part, and that was the whole gimmick too. Was like you don't even look like it. They tried to play it again with like the Daniel Bryan thing when they tried to get him to shave his beard and put on the suit.
That's the one time I've been a Rock fan was leading up to that pay-per-view.
Well,
Like
good for you.
the summer of '98 and leading up to that, and then
Yeah.
they ruined it for me, and then I've never been a fan ever since.
Well,
I'm a fan of Dwayne Johnson, the person, just not the wrestler, The Rock.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's one of the greatest talkers ever. All right. We're done talking Brett and Sean now. Some comments in the chat here. They really want us to go in on this. I think they just really want us to.
No, I'm not.
I told you, Nate. The guy fucking sucks. The guy is possibly the worst wrestler in the history of professional wrestling. I as I said,
He's tolerable.
Yeah. What do you always say about people, Tyler? He's fine.
Fine.
He's fine.
I was trying not to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine. Road Dogg might be the worst wrestler ever. I mean, he's made some pretty ludicrous comments. Yeah, I can think of, I named about 70 fucking tag teams before we started our show that are better than the New Age Outlaws. I mean, I'll name them on air if you want. I have them all written down. So I really went in. D was like, the New Age Outlaws are like top 20 tag teams all time. And I named like fucking 31 tag teams better than the New Age Outlaws.
He did that one other time when I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen a better match than that. And this guy just rattles off 30 of them. I'm just like,
well, the one time I did it, the one night I was working overnight and Finn Balor won the I Quit match against Edge. And I believe that you said
I said it was perfect.
Yeah, but you said
You know who else said it was perfect? Edge.
I mean, can't disagree. If I agree with Brett about WrestleMania 11 because Brett, then I have to agree with Edge. So I mean, Edge is a great.
Is that the night I called you Skip Bayless?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
But in that text, I believe you mentioned something about him being one of the top 10 workers in the business at the time, and I named like 30 wrestlers I thought were better than Finn Balor that night. Like,
I mean, you were wrong about most of them, but sure.
No, I wasn't. No,
bro, he's gotta stop like petting cats and being nice to people.
Yeah, he's a terrible heel. I've said this before.
Granted, Rhea pet the cat as well.
Yeah, but mommy can do whatever she wants. Breaking news, everyone. MJF defeated Daniel Garcia, in case you were wondering if he was going to lose the title to Daniel Garcia.
Oh, I don't have to watch Dynamite. Thanks for spoiling that.
Yep.
That was a big cliffhanger there.
Yeah. But yeah, so we were having a conversation and I forget how it started, but me and D started talking and he was asking me, he mentioned Road Dogg and I broke down the D Generation X and the Click and I said in the order that I believe that the Click actually goes, like how they're like I said, this is the order of the Click in terms of how I believe that they should be in the pecking order. I said Shawn, Razor, Nash, Pac, Aldo Montoya, China, Billy, Triple H, and Road Dogg. And
Billy and Road Dogg were really in the Click.
Well, then that's why Road Dogg should be at the bottom. But anyway, I think Billy Gunn is a better professional wrestler than Triple H, so I can't really. I mean, I think Triple H is better at everything else, but yeah. So we started talking, and then we kind of went into it. And he said that the New Age Outlaws are a top 20 tag team all time. And I said, no way they're not. And I said, and then I rattled off. I said, Hart Foundation, Steiner Brothers, Legion of Doom, Demolition, Usos, Harlem Heat, Rockers, Freebirds, Bulldogs, Brainbusters, Los Guerreros, New Day, The Bar, Rock and Roll Express, the Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, Midnight Express, the Briscoes, the Samoans, the Wild Funk, the Funks, the Hollywood Blondes, Rock and Sock Connection, Brothers of Destruction, Money Inc., Team Held No, Beer Money, World's Greatest Tag Team, the Haas Brothers, the Hit Squad. And then I said, not to mention Jericho, rated RKO, Spirit Squad, Billy and Chuck, the new Smoking Guns, the old Smoking Guns, the new Rockers, Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly, the Hurricane and Rosie, Mizdow of Resistance, Ray and Edge, Austin and HBK, Owen and Yoko, the Bucks, Ray Dragon, FTR, the Creed Brothers, DIY, Natural Disasters, Bushwhackers, Paul London and Spanky, Ahmed Johnson, and this is my favorite, Ahmed Johnson and the little kid he touched. I mean, every single tag team that I just mentioned is better than
Braun Strowman and Nicholas.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Did you mention the Motor City Machine Guns?
Oh no, I didn't. That's another one. The Motor City Machine Gun. I did mention Beer Money.
Yeah, I know that's what made me
The
think
Steiner
of it.
brothers were literally the second team I mentioned. I said the Hart Foundation and the Steiners.
He's a big mark for the Steiners.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Of course I would name that. And then he said the Hart Foundation's overrated. And I was like, what? Who says that? Everybody loves the Hart Foundation, the new Hart Foundation. Everybody loves all of it.
What about the Nasty Boys?
I didn't put them on there. See, it's great. The Nasty Boys.
The
are better
Outsiders.
too. Oh yeah, I forgot about them. I never think of them.
Angle and the Crippler.
Yeah, 100%.
Edge and Ray.
I have Edge and Ray. I said Edge.
Oh, you just okay.
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah,
Edge and Christian. I didn't hear Edge and Ray.
Yeah. Edge has
Ray and Eddie?
3 tag teams on here, bro. Edge has 3 tag teams on here.
Ray and Eddie.
Oh, I didn't put. Yeah, Ray and Eddie are better. I did put Los Guerreros on there.
Darby and Sting.
Top 5 tag teams. Ooh, who and Sting? Who and Sting?
Darby and Sting.
Yeah, Darby and Sting are better. Yeah, absolutely. Sting and Lex Luger are better. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Get the fuck out of here. Get off of the show.
What about one night only tag team? Lex Luger and Shawn Michaels. Main eventing Lex's last show in WWE.
I'm sure that would be better.
It was awesome.
Well, D has a question here. He did rattle off some of his favorites, but this is a good thing since we never answer questions like this on the show. Why don't you, Tyler, give us your top 5 tag teams all time?
Top 5
and
tag
then I'll
teams
do the same.
all time. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give Little Tyler number 1, not Little Tyler like down there, but like Little Boy Tyler. Now that I've gone way off script, I'm gonna go with Demolition.
Oh, okay.
They're my favorite when I was a kid. I love the face paint and all that.
Yeah,
all that cool jazz. Edge and Christian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably the Hardy. I think the Hardy Boys would have to be in there, right?
Sure.
I don't know.
They're amazing.
Top 5 though.
I don't know. Oh, I forgot about Alpha Academy. They're better than the fucking.
Oh, geez, yeah.
They're better.
Yeah.
Oh, not even Alpha Academy. Wait, is that Jason Jordan and Chad Gable?
Yes.
Yeah, they're way better than the New Age Outlaws. Fuck, the Shield is better than the New Age Outlaws. How did I forget the Shield?
That's a good question. Okay, top 5 tag teams. Let's see. Demolition, Edge and Christian, Motor City Machine Guns. I loved them.
Yeah. Okay.
Ray Dragon is up there. They're probably on the list.
Wow, it's a pretty good list there. It's
I
all
really
over the
like
place.
them. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Gotta give the 5th spot.
You have Doom ahead of the Steiners? No, I don't. I was reading my text. What are you talking about? I said Hart Foundation, Steiners, LOD. Those are the first 3, and then I said Demolition. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna go with a non-traditional tag team, but they tagged together a fair amount. Y2J and the Crippler.
Nice. So my top 5 tag teams of all time, when I'm looking at my personal list, I definitely have Heart Foundation number 1, the Steiners number 2, the original Heart Foundation, Brett and Anvil. Just want to make it clear. The Steiner brothers number 2, Edge and Christian number 3. I think it's really hard to take away what they've done for the business. I don't want to put them in here, but I will. I'm going to say the Rockers, just based on the fact that they innovated a lot of tag team wrestling. They did a lot. They were like the starters of a lot of like doing moves together. And I think that when you talk about tag team wrestling, you have to. The reason that I say that I don't want to put them in there is not because I don't like Sean or Marty, because I do, and I love the tag team. I still think that's one of the greatest theme songs of all time. It's the fact that they just like didn't really do much as a tag team.
Right.
They didn't actually like win a lot of gold. And the one time that they did win gold, they had the decision reversed and they didn't get their rematch.
They won the
It's just
AWA tag team titles.
Okay, there you go. The other tag team that I want to give a lot of credit to is Arn and Ole Anderson, because as Charlie Haas recently said on a tag team, on a podcast, they were actually the guys that refused to give you a traditional wrestling match. Their entire objective out there as a tag team was to make you hate what they were doing. They wanted to be heels. And I think that is something we're lacking in professional wrestling today, which is a actual team that wants you to hate them. If you want them to do a vertical suplex, they're not doing that shit. The type of stuff that MJF does for satire now, like headlock takeovers, they were doing shit like that in the 80s on purpose because they wanted you to throw bottles at them. They wanted you to hate them. And I believe that they were really good wrestlers too. So that's one team I would put in there as like one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Yeah. And then obviously, like if like a Tyler knows this, and Patty, you know this more than anybody, but I gotta put Harlem Heat in there. Because I love Booker T. Love Booker T.
Booker T had some interesting things to say about Ahmed Johnson.
Well, so did I.
What did you say?
I put him on the tag team list.
He did not put him on the tag team list.
No, I put him on the tag team list. I said Ahmed Johnson and the little boy he touched.
Wait. Did I like touched?
Yes, man. Did you not know that about Ahmed Johnson? He's a
I did not know that about Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah.
That was not what he was. He just said that he was a liar and he was full of shit. But
yeah, I mean, those are not my words. Those are just words that other people have said about
Booker T
Ahmed Johnson in the past. So, you know,
he's another one that was allegedly seeing some sunny days.
Wow. Okay.
I'll tell you the story off air. It's not fit for air.
Got it. Yeah.
Let's just say Candido knew about this one.
Oh man, they make videos like that. Gross.
It wasn't quite like that, but it was a transaction.
Oh, was it like Demi Moore, Woody Harrelson, and Robert Redford?
If $1 million was a bag of Coke, sure.
Ooh. That movie's messed
Allegedly.
Got it. Got it. That movie's messed up, man. Woody Harrelson's pain in that movie is just awful.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it. He said yes, so it's your fucking fault. There's no way I would never say yes to that.
I can't speak to whether it's official, whether it's actually true or not.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a thing that was going around a while back. It was like a list. It was called Wrestling Sleaze.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on there, and so allegedly this is what happened, and Candido went to look for her at Ahmed's room to get the agreed upon prize, and he's like, I don't know, I left her outside Shawn Michaels' room.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man.
So why don't we jump off this topic now? Why don't we talk about something else that Bret Hart did recently?
Okay.
So recently in an interview, Gunther was speaking with, I believe it was Chris Van Fleet, where he is talking about the best professional wrestlers ever, and Van Fleet brings up Bret the Hitman Hart, and Gunther says, "Yeah, I mean, in terms of in-ring work, there's not very many that are better than Bret." But I'm going to stop right there because Bret had some really negative things to say about my match with Sheamus in Cardiff. And I take things personally and I never forget. And I thought that was really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, he did jump back to professionalism and he said, I wish there was a way for us to settle this in the ring, but we never will be able to. So he apparently, I don't remember Bret saying anything negative about
Is that the match that he
you?
was talking about, the leg slapping?
There's no way. There's no.
I don't think there was a whole lot of leg
Sheamus
slapping in that match.
That would be insane.
Man.
I wonder what, maybe he just thought it was unsafe. Maybe he thought they were too snug.
Maybe, but if I'm a wrestler, I don't want to hear that from another wrestler. Like,
Agreed.
Like, I feel like if I'm willing to do and I trust my opponent to do whatever it is, that's why when you were talking with the Will Ospreay Kenny thing with Brian, like I wouldn't want to. I would have told them,
This is different though. It seems like Brian just really wants to protect people, and it doesn't seem like he caught any heat for it. And I think, and I don't know if we talked about it on the show or if I talked about it on Working the Marks. Brian, I believe because of Brian's specific injury that they probably were like, whatever. But Kenny did attack everybody else that fucking said something about it, though. Kenny
I was going to say,
everybody else.
If I was Kenny Omega, and maybe they handled it personally. Because if I was Kenny Omega, I'd be like, bro, just keep my name out your mouth.
I doubt Kenny talked to Brian like that, but I get what you're saying. Not because I don't think Kenny's got the balls to do it, because I do believe that Kenny.
I'm sure he would
anybody. He's a fucking hockey. He's a hockey player. He'll go with anybody.
I'm sure he respects him more than that, but I'm sure they probably said, "Hey, look,
yeah,
I've been doing this long enough that."
Yeah, there's a reason CM Punk jumped at the Young Bucks and not Kenny Omega. I think he kind of knew what was going to come.
Yeah. Oh man. So the rumors are dying down about him coming back at Survivor Series.
Yeah, the new rumor is Drew McIntyre to team with Judgment Day and Randy Orton to team with Team Cody.
Oh, do they still each need another member?
I don't know. They said it was 4-on-4, but why not add those fifth members?
My Survivor Series card better.
Yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed it.
I just like the traditional Survivor Series matches.
Yeah.
They're just fun. That's what people forget. Wrestling is supposed to be fun.
100%.
That's what I like. That's what I liked about Crown Jewel is most of it was just fun.
Punk is coming back in 17 more days. We'll see.
I don't know, bro. I think Full Gear is in 10 days.
What are we looking forward to in that show?
When MJF retains the title and the guy in the devil mask comes out, pulls it off, and it's CM Punk.
That would be interesting.
That would be amazing, is what that would be. Yeah, you're right. I'm not overly hype about it either. Definitely not the...
I'm just waiting for Wrestle Kingdom.
I'm not going to admit to a crime on the podcast. So,
yeah. I mean,
let's just say I won't be watching that one because I'm not going to pay for it and I'm not going to break the law.
No fucking way. I'm not going to pay for that. So the breaking news today, before we kind of close out the show, might as well just talk about random stuff here. We were going to change the subject since a lot of you seem to really enjoy when we jump off of professional wrestling at the end of the show. Me and Tyler are going to do that here in a minute. But it looks like TNT is trying to win the rights to Monday Night Raw. And it looks like AEW is going to be taken off of TNT and TBS. That is going to be super interesting. I can see TNT being like a Monday Night Raw destination.
Yeah, I could see that. Do they not have a contract though?
No, Monday Night Raw does not have a contract.
No, I mean AEW. Do they not have a contract with Time Warner?
They're no. The Time Warner thing broke down. D, what are this stuff on here? Yesterday we had the facts on the show yesterday. I mean, I guess hosted on Working the Marks and Uribe brought it up that the deal broke down. He had like all of the people that like he had the person that broke the story. It was an actual business website, not just a professional wrestling. It was an actual
Sports Business Journal.
Maybe.
Probably.
Let me see if I could text Uribe and see if he could send me the thing real quick.
That's not great.
No,
that's not great. Although, I mean, TNA has managed to find home after home, so
yeah. Yeah.
But I would be surprised. I would be surprised not to see it stay in the NBC Universal family, though, especially with SmackDown going to USA. Although SmackDown's been on Fox, so now that I say that,
yeah. I mean, NXT to the CW is huge because
is that what the deal is? It's CW.
Yeah, and it's huge though because the CW lost their superhero market, so they need to bring like people in that demographic back, and professional wrestling is the best way to do that.
Right. I saw that they were supposed to get some lucrative deal, but it didn't say where. They didn't know where yet or something.
Yeah, and Shawn Michaels actually confirmed it with his tweet yesterday as he thanked everyone and then said that Triple H laid the groundwork for all of the work that all the kids are that they're doing now. So
yeah,
it's actually been confirmed.
CW is heavily getting into sports, like alternative sports, sort of, because they purchased the rights to the entire NASCAR Xfinity series, which is like AAA, used to be called the Busch Series.
Oh, yeah.
They also have Live Golf. I know they have a deal with NWA as well, but I don't know if one matters to the other. So they're definitely interested in the fringe. I guess we call them fringe sports, maybe.
Yeah.
Outside of the four major sports.
I mean, I think that's pretty cool regardless.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised to see.
Like that. Shout out to D Rotten, absolutely the producer of the show. Thanks
sure.
for joining us, man. Appreciate you.
D, is that you in an alternate personality?
No. He's David Gregory Karsh. That's who's
putting yourself over.
No, he's good, dude. Yeah. Well, I mean, either way, it's exciting.
It is, as long as, I definitely want there to be more than one, really healthy company out there. So,
yeah, I don't know what's going on with AEW and why they're not producing great content, why they're not able to actually give us like more stuff, why they're not able to pack the arenas, why people aren't watching the product on television.
So interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
I think I said last week on the show that the last Dynamite of 2023 is here in Orlando.
Yes.
So I got on Friday morning and looked for tickets, and they're not opening the upper bowl. That's where we sat before, and it was still armed like elbow to elbow. And so they're only doing like the lower bowl, like the 100s, the floor seats, and whatever other VIP stuff. And tickets, I don't know where these buy one get one free things are, but
Oh,
tickets.
thanks, man. Really appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Thanks, bro. I definitely. We talk a lot of Attitude Era, so
Yeah,
I'll buy
100%. We
and
just
check us
finished
out.
talking about Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. That's what this entire show was about, the anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob.
Brett screwed Brett. Anyway,
So,
I don't know where this buy one get one free tickets and all that bullshit has been going on, because tickets are starting at $50 a piece.
that's really cheap, though.
A piece?
$50 a piece for tickets? Yeah, that's absolutely
I
cheap.
paid 20. I
Tickets
paid
here-
20. I paid 20 to go to Raw.
Really? Where the fuck
Yep.
did you sit? The nosebleeds?
Yeah, we could touch the ceiling. I mean,
Why would you want to sit that high? How good are your fucking bifocals?
we're in the building. I can see.
What arena are you go? Or is that the Orlando Magic arena?
That's where we went for Raw. The AEW is at the UCF basketball arena.
Fuck that. No, man. I'm sitting at the second level, the first like tilted level. I'm not sitting on the floor and I'm not sitting up high. If I'm going to watch professional wrestling, I want to
That's
see the
where
show.
that's where the $50 tickets are.
I want to see the show. I want to take good pictures. I want my son and my daughter. I want them to see the show. I mean, I take my kid wrestling. I take Arthur and Jordan wrestling to go see wrestling, and Arthur freaks out at seeing people like Lesnar and Roman Reigns in person, and then Jordan freaks out over Otis doing the worm or the caterpillar.
I mean, I'm the age that I am, and I had to fight back tears when Edge came out. So whatever, man.
I mean, yeah, I'm just happy to say that the last show me and Arthur went to, we were there for Roman Reigns' infamous promo where like, this is all mine. That promo right before when Brock was still WWE champion, and he's like, this ring is mine. This fan base is mine. That belt is mine. That referee is mine. Like that promo Roman Reigns cut was phenomenal, bro. He's just so fucking good. I said that like he's top 5 all time in my opinion. Me personally.
Yeah,
Me.
I'll allow it.
I mean, that's my personal list though. It doesn't have to be yours.
No, I understand, but like, and again, I come off as a hater on here, but like really, it's just I don't like a lot. I don't like the same thing for a long time.
Yeah, man, Edge does rule.
And he does
Absolutely.
rule.
Yeah.
Like they had an awesome match on Saturday, but it was so predictable.
Yeah, it's funny because I said that yesterday.
But it was so much fun.
But the problem is that Roman's become like Sting to me. It's become to the fact that because I like him so much, I don't know if I'm being objective when I'm watching him anymore. I said this when I was talking about that LA Knight match. I enjoyed that match. I thought that match was good. And I was thinking to myself yesterday, I was like, did I really enjoy this match, or do I just like Roman Reigns so much that I think he can't do anything wrong?
No, there were no complaints in my house.
Yeah, that was a really good match.
We both really
Drew
liked
and
it.
Seth stole the show, though. I don't even want to hear it from people. Drew and Seth stole the show. The 5-way was close second.
I was a little disappointed, honestly, in Drew and Seth, but I think my expectations were just so high that
I can't. That one spot alone, when he went for the twisting 450 and he missed it, and he got up into a Claymore, I thought the match was over.
That was awesome. I would agree with you. The 5-way I thought was really good.
Zoe Stark was the MVP. She was everywhere. She was I swear her performance in that match is why she gets the match of Survivor Series.
My complaint with that match were, I know they've got to, cover everything up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at, was it Io and Bianca that wrestled?
Yeah.
If you look at them, they still look like superstars. Their presentation. Shayna Baszler was wearing a Walmart sweatshirt and a pair of workout pants.
Those are not workout pants. Those are gi. That's a gi. She's
Whatever
also
it is.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
She looked really stupid.
Okay.
The presentation, I just feel like everyone should be presented like a superstar, and there were a couple of people in that match that didn't look like they were even trying.
I suppose. I mean, all Rhea Ripley did, she wore the pants that she typically comes out with every Monday night, and then she just put on like the Catwoman top.
Right. And it
it
does suck that they are under such restrictions.
So I don't really want to talk about the women and what they were wearing, but the one thing I will say, I guess, just to add to your point, to give you like, so you don't feel like you're the only person doing this. I think after what Becky Lynch did last year, wearing the Beatrix Kill, like the Kill Bill gear, like she showed us that you can do something cool with your gear.
Right. And
I don't think anybody did that this year.
I thought that that Io and Bianca looked really cool. I thought they both really looked like superstars. And that's just that's just what I didn't like about the first.
Let's not forget how amazing Kairi Sane looked too, because she looked like a fucking superstar too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, best elbow drop in the game. Just awesome. And what about that spot, man? Bianca rolls into a moonsault. I was like, God damn, what a great spot. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Match still wasn't better than Backlash, though. That Backlash match was better.
The Backlash match?
Yeah, that was Io and Bianca worked Backlash.
Did they?
Yeah. Everybody was cheering for
Io. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And Bailey screwed up or whatever, yeah.
Bailey. Yeah. I love watching her get in and out of the ring.
Well, I don't feel as bad commenting on the women's wardrobes now.
I'm just saying.
And to be clear, I'm not saying they should have wore anything, tight or scantily clad or whatever.
Yeah, no, we're talking. Yes.
The presentation needs to be look like you're trying to look like a superstar.
Oh yeah, no,
and if it was a guy, I'd say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of why.
Unless it's Mick Foley, and then that's just Mick.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to bring up the Becky Lynch thing, because what she did last year by turning her whole gear into like the bride during the Crazy 88s battle, like that was really dope. You know what I mean? So it's like you can do something really cool, but the that's different though, because Becky and Seth are all about upstaging everyone with their gear. So
yeah, it's her stylist that's been styling him, right?
Yeah, and she gets jealous of some of the things he gets to wear.
Yeah.
She is. Do
we want to touch on
the man first though?
Do we want to touch on the tweet you sent me about Seth?
Sure. Why don't you remind me?
It was the reason people are getting mad.
Oh, yeah. The Mr. Santi Zap thing. Yes, yeah. Mr. Santi Zap is he's a really big
awesome
guy on Twitch and TikTok. We love your stuff here, man. Absolutely. And that was such a great, I actually made a TikTok video about that. I was agreeing with him. So yeah, why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, so the reason and it's 100% true. The reason that people are mad every time Seth doesn't drop the title is because it's people that we wanted to see in that spot for so long that he keeps beating. Yes. And it's like there's reasons for all of them. Like, we don't feel like Nakamura has been used properly. Finn got to be champion for a day. Drew didn't have fans when he was champion. There's reasons for all of it. So I think that's just unfortunate for Seth, because he's so good, and so deserving of the spot that he's in, and he works so hard. And it's funny because it seems to me the last time Seth was in this spot, it was the same thing. Not necessarily with the people he worked, but again, immediately as soon as he had the title, people were over it. Like, we wanted him to win the Rumble, beat Brock, all that stuff. Well, I did. I think most people did. And then when he did, we were like, whatever. Which led to Brock coming back, winning the Money in the Bank, winning the title, and then a whole bunch of other bullshit that happened.
I mean, during that face run, that's when I flipped my script. That's when I became a Seth fan. I mean, I wear the same T-shirt every single
Monday Night
Monday.
Rollins.
Yeah, I wear.
Yeah, he was the MVP of WWE in 2008 or 2018 for sure.
Yeah, 100%. He was the man.
He's probably got 3 of them.
Yeah,
if it was a real award.
Yeah, Brock is a Mount Rushmore guy for me personally. He's in my top 5 all time. I talk about him all the time. He's my son's favorite wrestler ever. And, knowing that Seth went over on him at WrestleMania, it was one of those things where it was like, I couldn't even be mad. I was just so happy. And then to know, to have Seth guest star on Broken Skull Ranch to talk about Lesnar and how good he was and, how he wanted to make it memorable for Seth. And I feel like I just became a really big fan of Seth altogether during that time. And, I love seeing his tweets every Sunday. I hate football.
You like that interview?
Yeah, I thought that was a good interview.
You know who hates that interview?
Jim Cornette.
Terry Taylor.
Oh, of course he does. Whatever.
He told me himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
well, there you go. Ask him to guest star on the show. Let's get Terry Taylor on the show.
Have not seen him since like a week after that interview came out, so I don't think Terry is going to be on the show anytime soon. Nice guy though. Nice guy.
I reached out to the Drama King today because he was doing a live where he was watching Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho, the ladder match at No Mercy. And there was only like 5 people on his live, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this dude is like married to a Guerrero. Like, I just started like messaging him and stuff. And
this dude is married to a Guerrero.
Yeah, but he's so good. Like, he's
his claim to fame.
Yeah, no, I mean, whatever. So I just started messaging him. So hopefully we can maintain. We started following each other on TikTok then, and hopefully now that we follow each other, we can direct message each other. So hopefully I can get him on the show.
Oh shit! What's his name? He's commentator on Impact, right? Or TNA again now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was with the guy who was with Rusev, Aiden English.
Yeah, Aiden English. Yeah.
His real name's like Matthew something, right?
Yeah, he should just change his last name to Guerrero. But
I would if I was in the wrestling business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate that Seth Rollins has this happen.
How did we?
He definitely needs like more. He definitely needs like bigger heels to work. Like, this would be the time where I would have him work like a Baron Corbin. Like, he needs.
Sure.
I mean, you need to have people that you hate wrestle him. It's like right now, like, dude, if they go from Seth Rollins if they go from Drew McIntyre to Damian Priest, like, people are gonna back Damian Priest too. It's gonna be the 4th straight person he feuds with where everybody wants that guy to win the title. There were people that thought that Sammy was gonna win on Monday.
I mean, that would be as interesting a time as any to do it.
Oh yeah, it would have shocked the shit out of everybody, especially if Sammy won that title and Damian cashed in right after he won. Wouldn't that be just like the NXT run?
Oh,
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he got to have the title at least for a minute in NXT,
and then he lost in the most embarrassing way. He got KO'd from receiving like 5 power bombs.
I mean, I guess he didn't give up.
I feel like they're redoing the Neville.
That match was on my birthday.
Oh.
And we were watching it. Me and Sarah were watching it because it was the takeover was on my birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
And my mom was sitting there and she's not a fan.
Of Kevin Owens?
Of wrestling.
Oh. But
she thinks that
Mama Taylor, I thought, likes everything you like.
No, she thinks Adam Cole's cute, but beyond that,
she likes the Incredible Shrinking Man, but she doesn't like anybody else.
She thinks he's cute.
Okay.
He was mad because he like did a heelish thing to Adam Page, and she was like, "I'm really disappointed he turned out to be a jerk because he's really cute." But anyway, so it's my birthday, so she's sitting there just watching it, tolerating it, whatever, until about the 3rd power bomb, and she's like, "I can't. This is bullshit. I can't sit here."
So before we go, I just want to ask you one more question. Do you think that WWE is currently recycling the Sami Zayn Neville program?
I am not fortunate enough to have seen. I started watching NXT basically with the KO.
Okay.
Uh,
So Neville beats Bo Dallas for the
I know
no.
Sammy never could win the big one kind of thing, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like they're doing right now. So I'm just curious if he's gonna win, and that's when Judgment Day cashes in, because right after he won the title and he was celebrating, KO betrayed him.
Right. I do have a trivia question for you before we go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Not counting Money in the Bank matches.
Okay.
Who is the only man to open and close 3 WrestleManias? Not the same one, obviously. Not the same ones,
Yeah,
obviously.
clearly, because you said 3.
3
Open.
each. And it's
So
actually more than 3, but
they've opened WrestleMania and closed WrestleMania, but they've done it 3 times.
3 times for each.
Wrestlers or wrestler?
Wrestler.
Wrestler. Close. Okay. It's not Miz. He's only closed 1. It's not Seth. He's only closed 1. Brian closed 2. Brian opened 2. Does the pre-show count?
No.
Okay. I believe the Shield versus. No, that wasn't. That would mean Roman didn't open that many times. Brett opened 10. Brett closed 9, 10, 12. You said the Hart Foundation was the main event for one of the nights of WrestleMania 2, right?
I think that was the Bulldogs.
Oh, the Bulldogs, okay. I can't imagine Hogan opened any WrestleMania. When was that? Oh, it was WrestleMania 10. Was that 10 or 12? Macho versus Crush.
10.
Okay. See, I know the closers, but now I'm trying to think of the matches they opened. So is this Shawn Michaels?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So he wrestled Tatanka opening match.
Mm-hmm.
He wrestled
Tito
Martel.
Santana.
Tito Santana, I'm sorry.
And the Rockers wrestled.
Midnight Express.
I don't remember if it was that or the Haku and the Barbarian.
Oh.
Because I want to say it was 3 years in a row.
Okay.
And he's actually he's main evented, I believe it's 5.
Yeah. He main evented 12, 14, 26, 20,
and 23.
23. Yeah. Super underrated. That 23 match is super underrated. People don't know shit. People are so weird.
I think they all just want him to win, so when he didn't, it was...
It's so weird. In WrestleMania 12, I wanted Shawn to lose so bad. WrestleMania 14, I wanted Shawn to win.
Really?
Yeah. WrestleMania 20, I think we all wanted the same person to win.
Yes.
I don't even think that's close. WrestleMania 23, I wanted him to win so bad. I literally almost cried when he lost that match. I was so angry. Like, it
I was
wasn't like
pi-
a cry like a child. It was like I was so angry, my eyes were watery.
I was pissed that he tapped.
Mhm.
Shawn Michaels never tapped. He tapped to Kurt Angle, and that was it.
Yeah.
You make him tap to John Cena? John Cena?
It doesn't matter. I still think the biggest. I'm gonna be a wrestling mark right now. I'm gonna be a mark right now. Okay. I still think the most embarrassing moment I've ever seen in professional wrestling was the submission match between Benoit and John Cena on Monday Night Raw that literally ended in like 35 seconds, where he trips, he drop toe holds Benoit, puts him in the STF, and Benoit taps out. It was one of the most
That was a
horrendous.
thing. Wow.
You forgot that match, didn't you?
I don't remember it now. I think maybe I blocked it from my. We'll do good to keep it blocked.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember when that happened. I remember being so angry. I was like, "No fucking way! This guy tapped out Brock Lesnar. This guy made Brock Lesnar tap out, and you're telling me John Cena taps him with this bullshit." Anyway, it was just awful. Yeah. So it was Shawn Michaels. Nice.
Yeah, like someone I was watching
You said his
Cultaholic.
name. I feel like we say his name every single podcast now, just because of the.
I've been trying not to say it all night, but then you did, so it's like
It's really hard when it's just really hard. He had so much in pro wrestling.
So, am I safe to assume D, that my shirt cannot be a Wolverine with a Canadian flag on it?
A Wolverine, like the actual animal,
a rabid Wolverine.
Oh, that's right. No, I'm pretty sure that's it. No, I actually, yeah, because I was actually gonna change my name to the Pitbull because Isla, what's her name for the Diamond Mine? Her name is the Pitbull. I was like, okay, I gotta change that. I gotta change it. Oh, that's right. He is absolutely correct. Logan is Canadian. Wolverine from the comics is Canadian. That's right.
Oh, well, then maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Yep. Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, D, we knew that.
Would that be gimmick infringement?
Probably. That probably would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
D's
stick
really
to
big on the gimmick thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll stick to the flag with the beard on it.
Yeah. That's gonna be a cool shirt. It'll be a Tyler shirt. We'll have like the Canadian flag with just a beard. Just a beard on it. It'll just say the talent. That'd be a cool shirt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna be on here next week with no beard. My new job has
Oh,
clean
God.
cut. It's gonna be clean cut. So it's gonna look like one big pussy on my face. Anyway.
So you mean you could have like done your thing and helped the Devils out anyway, but now you're just a sellout for the man instead?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. At the time, my beard was flowing. It was flowing. It was really. I was trying to be like fucking Dumbledore. Clean cut. Oh my god. Yeah, I know. But my hair stays the same. I told them I can't cut my hair because I'm not doing it.
Because religious reasons, or just I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I need to enjoy the fact that I'm gonna be 40 and my hair's fucking flowing. So anyway, yeah, but
God, so old.
Yeah, whatever, bro. Fucking 40. That's the way to do it.
See, I shaved all the gray out over the weekend.
You should have kept that shit in, man. Silver Fox.
No, bro. No, it doesn't look good.
Silver Fox. Yeah, anyway. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Must Love Wrestling. We really enjoyed the beginning part of this podcast. We really enjoyed going at it. We've been trying to do this for a long time. And trust me, this was PG-13 compared to the conversations that Tyler and I have had like on the telephone about Brett versus Sean. We've talked about this for a long time.
I never got to tell my Jean-Pierre Lafitte story.
Oh yeah, okay. You want to bash Shawn Michaels before we head out?
I
Go
do.
ahead.
I want everyone to know that I'm an equal opportunity here.
Everybody catches some shit.
Exactly. So WWF is in Montreal, and imagine that in Montreal, and Diesel's champion. Back in those days, the French Canadian wrestlers would face the champion in the main event.
Mhm.
Well, so it's Jean-Pierre Lafitte, otherwise known nowadays as PCO, Pierre Carl Ouellet, versus Diesel, and Lafitte doesn't want to put him over. He's like, "Oh, we got to do a schmoz, we got to do a DQ." Because why is it with people fucking losing in Montreal? But anyway, we got to do a DQ because we're gonna come back and do a rematch or whatever next time. And Diesel's like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah,
but Sean's pissed. He's like, how is this pirate not going to put over the WWF champion? It was a pirate. That was his gimmick.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's pissed to the point where, according to Shane Douglas, and this I got this in the book, The Titan Trilogies. It's important we cite our sources for these things so we don't get sued.
Yep.
Instead of firing him, he wanted Vince to starve him out, which means leave him under contract but not book him.
Ooh.
Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah. That is messed up.
I mean, in the end, Lafitte turned out to be more trouble than he was worth anyway, and he got himself fired, I believe. But
yeah. Well, what can you do?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much how it works. But either way, it was definitely a great show. We look forward to it. We'll be back next week with Wrestle Talk. There's lots of things to talk about, but we figure we could take a break from the news cycle this week. And
maybe next week we do our 90 to 96 draft.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm definitely down for that. I definitely want to do our spotlight on our first female wrestler. So we're going to do that coming up soon too. I believe we do have the person that we're.
Wasn't there another spotlight we were supposed to do that never happened?
Oh yeah, Mr. Perfect. That's right.
No. There was another one.
Well, we have Sting,
Edge.
Shawn Michaels.
We do Edge.
Oh yeah,
and then Bray Wyatt died.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Edge is a fucking traitor, so it's just whatever.
Adam Copeland is a traitor.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to call him. Hades. That's what he is right now on Percy Jackson. That's what he is. He's Hades.
You know that he played a character on the show called Haven. I don't know if you ever saw.
Yeah.
Did you saw the show?
Yeah, I only watched when he was on.
Okay, so like for those of you who didn't watch it, some of the characters were supposed to have, they called them troubles. Well, his trouble was he attracted bullets, which he was like a military, like a Marine or something, so not a great issue to have.
Yeah.
I just, when he's talking about it on Talk is Jericho, I just find it really funny.
No.
I don't know.
That's pretty funny.
I'm just a huge fan of the guy.
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week, having more to talk about. And until next time, we're out.
Let's not forget Brett screwed Brett.
Never. Bret Hart, baby.
Never forget. Exactly.
Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be.